Hey guys, it's Ted Gravlin with the video of the day. Today I wanted to discuss something about something that came to mind the other day for me. And it's basically, how do you get a business to get to $1 million a year? So I know a lot of companies are not there. They're running $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, kind of stuck on this plateau. And you want to see what's the difference of what you have to do, what do you have to shift to get there, okay? Now for a lot of people, they've been building a business on things like word of mouth and that, and it works okay. But there are going to be other things you're going to have to do to get there. So to get to $1 million a year, first of all, let's just be clear. It's $83,333 a month on average. Now that doesn't mean every month has to be 83, but you can have a month or two with 50, 60 in there, but then you better have a couple of months with 120, 140 in there to get to $1 million a year, okay, to make up for it. You got to average 180, or you got to average $83,333 a year. So first thing you're going to do if you're going to have to get to $1 million in a year is you're going to have to do it with paid advertising. You're going to have to be good at least one way of doing paid advertising that's working for you. And you're not going to get there with word of mouth or reputation or just waiting for the phone to ring or any of that stuff. You're going to have to get good at it because those inconsistencies is going to sink you so many months of the year you're not going to make it. So you have to be ready to do the paid advertising, and in order for that to work, you have to have a lot of other things in a row first, in line first. If you're not ready to do paid advertising, you're not going to make your goal of $1 million a year if that's your goal. And here's what I mean by that. You need to be able to afford to do the advertising. So when you see someone saying, "Oh, how much is this?" or that costs too much. Hey, there's this service I want to sign up for. It costs $200 a month. I don't know if I should do it or not. When someone's talking like that, it just tells me that they're not ready to do paid advertising because they don't have. The second thing is getting your margins and your pricing models in place. If you were making really great money on all the jobs you were doing and everything, you would have plenty of money to spend on advertising. And if you knew that the budget was going to be there, and you knew that the ads were going to work, and you knew what a customer was worth to you, and you knew what your cost to acquire a customer was, and all of those things, that would really lead, it's kind of a chicken or the egg kind of thing, right? If you can't get there without the advertising, but you can't get the advertising without getting the numbers in place. Now, when I'm working with my clients, the first couple weeks we work, basically we're working on those numbers, and almost every single time, in fact, every single time, I get a call back within a week or so saying, "Oh my God, that was a game changer. Just getting the price changes right and the pricing model right and selling at those prices and getting our financial numbers in places where they should be so that I'm not kidding myself anymore about where the money is." Knowing those things is a really, really big deal. So that's kind of step one. So doing step one will lead you to be able to afford to do the paid advertising you're going to have to do, because we're not even going to go into, in this video, what kind of advertising you should do, because it gets really complicated to go into there. But the fact is, you need to be able to get good at something that's going to work. And in order to do that, you have to be able to afford to do it. And it's almost like playing in a football game, right? If you're playing 2 touchdowns ahead, you can try a few plays, and if a couple of them don't work out, it's not the end of the world. If you're behind by 10 points, 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the next couple of plays you make, they've got to work. This is the Hail Mary pass. You don't want to be relying on Hail Mary plays in your advertising. You need to be saying, you know what, we can methodically march on down the field every time because we're already ahead of the game. And we already have a game plan that's working, and then it becomes a matter of just possession time and stuff, right? You can play those methodical game plans where it's like, hey, I only need to make 3 or 4 yards every play, and it's fine, and we're burning out the clock because we're ahead anyway, that kind of thing. So that's the mindset you got to get into in getting your numbers right. The third thing you're going to need is you're going to need to have some service agreements, because the first thing is, again, with marketing, is if you reduce the need to have to do it, suddenly it starts working better. So it's really weird how that works. But if you really, really, really need the marketing to work, like, oh my God, it's my last chance, it doesn't work as well. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't, but it just the chances are good that you're going to have trouble with it. So really, that's what it's going to take, is getting those numbers right. It's the first thing I work with people with. Then after that's right, then we start working with, again, how to do a marketing plan, and then we market and try to figure out how to get into some service agreements, and we start to work the whole process all into one big ball of wax. You got to have all those things hitting together, and you can get to $1 million a year. What's interesting is a lot of people think it means a boatload of trucks. It really doesn't. You can do $1 million a year with about 3 trucks, like 2 service trucks and 1 install vehicle, and you got about 5, 6 people total in the company, including an office person, yourself, and 3 or 4 installers and technicians. So, 5 to 6 people total in the company can get to $1 million and even higher. What's really strange is once you get this stuff in place, getting to 2 million becomes way, way, way easier than the first time. To go from 400,000 or 500,000 or wherever a lot of people are at to get to the million is like a whole shift in how you do business. And once you've made that shift, getting to the second million per year doesn't really shift very much, because all you're doing is taking the things you're doing and scaling them up to larger numbers and larger scales. You've got everything working the way it's supposed to, and for example, the owner is no longer doing every single task in the company, and once you figure out how to delegate that stuff and your company's working, well, then you just can hire even more people and delegate even more, and again, it's not all about you. So that's kind of the tip of the day. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, I think it's a really cool thread. We should probably start with what's going on with that. Where do you see the problems for your company? What's going on? How can someone help you? How can I help you? Go ahead, comment below. We'll see what's going on, and we'll talk soon.